Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Explore Yourselves, Banking and General Knowledge, etc. Jai Hind. Historical events of 3rd June. A journey through time of 3rd June 2025, Tuesday. Today's 3rd June. Highlights in history. 1602. An English naval force defeats a fleet of Spanish galleys and captures a large Portuguese crack at the Battle of Sesimbra Bay. 1608. Samuel de Champlain lands Antibes Quebec in the course of his third voyage to New France and begins erecting fortifications. 1621. The Dutch West India Company receives a charter for New Netherland. 1658. Pope Alexander VII appoints Francis de Laval Vicar Apostolic in New France. 1665. James Stuart, Duke of York, later to become King James II of England, defeats the Dutch fleet off the coast of Lowestoft. 1781. Jack Jewett begins his midnight ride to warn Thomas Jefferson and the Virginia legislature of an impending British raid. 1839. In Human, China, Lin Zexu destroys 1.2 million kilograms of opium confiscated from British merchants, providing Britain with a casus belli to open hostilities, resulting in the First Opium War. 1844. The last pair of Greek ox is killed. 1861. American Civil War. Battle of Philippi, also called the Philippi Races. Union forces rout Confederate troops in Barber County, Virginia, now West Virginia. 1916. The National Defense Act is signed into law, increasing the size of the United States National Guard by 450,000 men. 1935. 1,000 unemployed Canadian workers board freight cars in Vancouver, beginning a protest trek to Ottawa. 1937. The Duke of Windsor marries Wallis Simpson. 1940. World War II. During the Battle of France, the Luftwaffe bombs Paris. 1940. France Radmacher proposes plans to make Madagascar the Jewish homeland, an idea that had been first considered by 19th century journalist Theodore Herzl. 1941. World War II. The Wehrmacht razes the Greek village of Kandanos to the ground and murders 180 of its inhabitants. 1942. World War II. Japan begins the Aleutian Islands campaign by bombing Unalaska Island. 1943. In Los Angeles, California, white U.S. Navy sailors and Marines attack Latino youths in the 5-day Zoot Suit riots. 1950. Herzog and Lachenal of the French Annapurna expedition become the first climbers to reach the summit of an 8,000-meter peak. 1962. At Paris Orly Airport, Air France flight 007 overruns the runway and explodes when the crew attempts to abort takeoff, killing 130. 1963. Soldiers of the South Vietnamese army attack protesting Buddhists in Hue with liquid chemicals from tear gas grenades, causing 67 people to be hospitalized for blistering of the skin and respiratory ailments. 1965. The launch of Gemini 4, the first multi-day space mission by a NASA crew. Ed White, a crew member, performs the first American spacewalk. 1969. Melbourne Events Collision. Off the coast of South Vietnam, the Australian aircraft carrier HMAS Melbourne cuts the US Navy destroyer USS Frank E. Evans in half, resulting in 74 deaths. 1973. A Soviet supersonic Tupolev Tu-144 crashes near Gusseneville, France, killing 14. The first crash of a supersonic passenger aircraft. 1979. A blowout at the Ixtoc 1 oil well in the southern Gulf of Mexico causes at least 30 lakh barrels of oil to be spilled into the waters, the second worst accidental oil spill ever recorded. 1980. The 1980 Grand Island tornado outbreak hits Nebraska, United States, causing 5 deaths and 300 million, equivalent to 1145 million in 2024 worth of damage. 1982. The Israeli ambassador to the United Kingdom, Shlomo Argov, is shot on a London street. He survives but is left paralyzed. 1984. Operation Blue Star, a military offensive, is launched by the Indian government at Harmandir Sahib, also known as the Golden Temple, the holiest shrine of Sikhs in Amritsar. The operation continues until June 6, with casualties, most of them civilians, in excess of 5,000. 1989. The government of China sends troops to force protesters out of Tiananmen Square after 7 weeks of occupation. 1991. Mount Anzen erupts in Kyushu, Japan, killing 43 people, all of them either researchers or journalists. 1992. Australian Aboriginal land rights are recognized in Mabo versus Queensland No. 2, a case brought by Torres Strait Islander Eddie Mabo, which led to the Native Title Act 1993 overturning the long-held colonial assumption of terra nullius. 1998. After suffering a mechanical failure, a high-speed train derails at Eschede, Germany, killing 101 people. 2006. The union of Serbia and Montenegro comes to an end with Montenegro's formal declaration of independence. 2012. A plane carrying 153 people crashes in a residential neighborhood in Lagos, Nigeria, killing everyone on board plus 6 people on the ground. 2012. The pageant for the Diamond Jubilee of Elizabeth II takes place on the River Thames. 2013. The trial of United States Army Private Chelsea Manning for leaking classified material to WikiLeaks begins in the Fort Meade, Maryland. 2013. At least 119 people are killed in a fire at a poultry farm in Jilin province in northeastern China. 2019. Khartoum massacre. In Sudan, over 100 people are killed when security forces accompanied by Janjaweed militiamen storm and open fire on a sit-in protest. Thank you very much for your patience. Please do like, share and subscribe the channel.